Right. So it's time to go over my Bonney deck, right? And for those who just want the deck list, this is the deck list. There's my OP11 Bonney list. I can go through the ratios, explain to you why I made it and stuff. But there's the list. If all you want is the list, you could take the list and run with it. I made this list because one, Cavendish is too expensive, and two, I don't like 8-cost kit because it's forced you to build the deck in a certain way, and that is push you to use chump blockers. And I wanted to try something different, given that I can't afford Cavendish at the price at now, and I'm hoping for it to get reprint. And this is what I land on, and this deck display pretty well. Like I said, there's the deck list. What I will do now is run through each card and tell you how I play each curve, or how I would play on curve, and why the card's there, and what I learned from playing so far. Before I jump into the list, I can tell you that right now, purple category leader and pudding, the purple yellow pudding, those two decks are stupidly hard for this to beat. Not only do they ramp, but once too many 8-cost category get on board, it's become a problem. Which means blue purple Luffy is kind of a problem if he gets too many categories. But the deck ain't too bad. It could do some slight modifications, but let me go through it card by card now, and I can tell you what I feel about everything. So there's the leader Bonney. I don't really think I need to explain it. If you got active Dawn on the opponent's turn, you rest the Dawn to rest their leader or one of their characters. But let me say the best curve for this deck right now is curve 2. So you playing second and you get the 2 Dawn. So your first play, if you got 2 Dawn, is VR. This can search every card in the deck except for 6. 6, 4, 8, 10. It can't search itself. It can't search the 4-0 cost event. And it can't search a 1 cost event I recently added. But other than that, it can search everything. So if you, on your 2 Dawn turn, this is what you play. You can also play on your 3 Dawn turn and leave 1 Dawn up to just pressure the opponent with that. But yeah, basically, you play on your 2 Dawn turn or your 3 Dawn turn. You have no 1 Dawn plays and no other 2 Dawn cards. Next up is Uruj. This is where you play on 4. Because removal not as rampant as it used to be, Uruj can live pretty long. So on your 4 Dawn play, this is where you want to put down. And you're not putting it down to use as a blocker, you're putting it down to curve out properly. You play a 4 cost, you swing with Bonney, and at the end of your turn, you restand the Dawn. Do not block with this. As long as you can get this to live another turn, that's what you're aiming to do. They got 4 of those. They got 4 Basil Hawkins. All he is worse Uruj. He's backup Uruj just in case you don't draw Uruj for 4. You could play Hawkins, because Hawkins also restands a Dawn. He's not a blocker, but he's a 2K, so he is better off in your hand than on the field. But if you don't draw Uruj, you won't play Hawkins. On 6 Dawn, this is what you want to play. 6 cost Basil Hawkins. Again, removal not rampant, but there's still some removal. He does, because he's a blocker at 7K, and he hard to remove, a lot of people just ignore it. So this usually be a free block, and or they just avoid it because they can't remove it. And once you could play this out, because it's a brick, you get what your hand is, get value very fast. And if you could play this right behind Uruj or Hawkins, that means you could play this on curve for 6 and get back a Dawn. And it's just a powerful play. And something you need to remember with this card is, you don't have to use it as a blocker. This is a 7K swing. Because you also got Uruj, in case of emergency, you could block with Uruj and you just use Hawkins as an attacker. Don't get trapped into the thinking that this is only for blocking. This is for you to attack. On your 8 Dawn curve, Rosinante is one of your plays. He is not a he's situational. Basically what you're playing him for is not his protection, is that you get to cheat out a 5 cost. The deck got many 5 costs. You could cheat out a Bonney and freeze a Dawn or a character. You could cheat out a Carrot and freeze a character. And in worst cases, you could cheat out the extra that you got in this deck, another 2K. But I can talk about that. But basically, Rosinante is just to help you to build board a little faster on 8. You don't always have to play him though. You could also play Hody on 8 if you got enough life. Hody is pretty good. Well, Rosinante at 3. Hody at 4. Of course, Hody is your finishing card, but sometimes on 8 or 7 Dawn, he's a strong play because he's rush, he's rest 2 things. You could probably control the board, or you can just get in a free swing. And versus like Teach, Hody's always your player because play is disabled. And I guess that's something I could talk about after. Well, I could talk about it now. With the Rosinante, this can probably be replaced with 9 cross Zoro, depending on your meta. Zoro probably is better, but I got my Zoros and my Carrot deck and I don't feel like swapping them. And sometimes just building the board does help a lot more than just putting down Zoro. So I kind of like Rosinante. But you can swap this for Zoro. And I guess I can take a break here now to talk about the 10 cost Long Beppo. I do not like that card. Almost every time I would play that card, I would rather play, let me skip past Hody, Don Quixote, Don Flamingo. Long Beppo, the 7k is, you don't always get the 7k boost, and you only freeze one thing. And from my testing, the only time I rather play Long Beppo is if I'm playing against the 8 cost blocker category, because he could block it, he could lock it down and I could then swing past. But then I pay a 10 down to do that, so I just don't like Long Beppo. Like in my testing, almost every time I played Long Beppo, I would rather play Don Flamingo. And if you could keep saying like Hawkins or Rouge on board, you get the Don Flamingo, you still get back your Don and you freeze 3 times, because normally Don Flamingo will get 2 freezes unless the opponent really playing around Don Flamingo. You will always get their leader and maybe another character on board. If they had try swinging out, you get 3 characters, and like getting 3 characters is better than freezing one and becoming a 7k for a turn. So Don Flamingo is your 10 Don play and basically your main boss monster. He's who you want to play after you play Rosinante or who was the other one? Or Hody. Right? After this now, all the cards is just support. But let me finish talking about the curve. Your off curve is kind of weird because we don't really got no 1, 3s. We got a lot of 5s. And Hody is the only 7. But if you're playing on first turn, if you're first player, on 3 Dawn you ideally get a search and leave up 1 Dawn. Or you just swing for 7 and leave up 1 Dawn. On 5 Dawn, you gotta find out what situation you're in and probably play between one of your numerous 5 costs, the Carrot, the Bonney. Them is the best 2 to play. Maybe the Extra, but that's it. On 7 Dawn, you still want to play Hawkins, whether you got a Rouge on board or not. Also, you could play a Rouge on your 5 Dawn turn if you want to, because that would still give you back a Dawn and you swing 6. But on 7 Dawn, you normally want to get with Hawkins. That's hopefully your best play. And you still leave 1 Dawn up. And if you got Rouge on board, you attach 1 Dawn to it and swing 6 again. Normally, you just be swinging 6 and playing out a card. And then from 9 Dawn, you got options. You got Hody, you got Shanks if Shanks is a good player. You got Hody and you got Rosinante. All them leave it a Dawn. And the thing about Bonney is leaving it a Dawn, while it means you're not curving out fully, she still utilizes the Dawn for her leader effect, so you're not losing out altogether. So it's a good play. But for the rest of the cards, every other card in this deck knows to support these cards here. The Duffy, the Rosie, the Hody, the Hawkins, and the Rouge. So this Carrot is a 2k. At the end of your turn, it's also standard Dawn, but you hardly ever want to play this out. But it can play out off of Rosinante in a pinch if you want to play 8 and you don't got no Rouge or Hawkins on board. You could play 8, put down this Carrot. You got a 5k swing, you still restand a Dawn on that turn. And you got a Dawn ready to you got a Dawn restander ready for when you want to play Don Flamingo. And it's searchable by the 2 cost event. So that's why the Carrot has a 2k. The next 2k is Extra. Extra ability expensive. Well, he can rest a 5 or less. It too expensive. Even though he's restanded Dawn. But every once in a while on 5 Dawn, you may see something you need to kill, like a Zoro Juro or something. You could play Hawkins for 5 and curve out. Attack into the Zoro Juro, and you still get back your Dawn. But that don't guarantee you kill it because Hawkins has used up all your Dawn. And even on 10 Dawn, playing this the rest of 5 or less, just expensive. It's probably better to swing with sign-ups and use this as a 2k. But it has a little utility. And we don't use the smaller 2ks like the Scratch Man and Pooh because this can't search any of them. remember, almost this entire deck is searchable. So that's just another 2K. Bonney I talk about a couple times. 4 of these. She's just a 5 cost play. She could play off of Rosie. And she could just offset curves and different things. Like you play one of these on blue purple Luffy, you know, only got 9 Dawn to work with. So if he plays a Sanji, he has no Dawn up for Giant. So Bonney could offset some curves. She's a 6K swing. She not bad at all. The next one is Carrot. Everybody know Carrot. Carrot is one of the best green cards next to Hody. I only run in 3. I guess you could swap some to put another Carrot, but I have found 3 to be reliable because Carrot is not the main goal for this deck. What you really want to be doing is the curve I show you. Rouge, Hawkins, Rosinante, Duffy. But Carrot here, she's very good. We got 2 Shanks. I have not found this Shanks to be good, but I got it here as a 9 cost. But I've seen all the winning Bonney lists from last weekend got like 4 Shanks, and I cannot understand why. Like, I hardly ever find the value of a playing Shanks. I don't know if that's because I'm missing that expensive card that I just called at the beginning of the video that I can't remember the name. Cavendish. But Shanks has always feel weird to play. So, but I still have 2. This could also probably swap for Zoro. I don't know. But just remember, if you put Kid in the deck, you know gotta change it. The 2 cost event not as good. It got a lot more misses. So if you can put Kid in the deck, switch to the Supernova build that everybody else running. But Shanks could swap up for Zoro as well. I'm not sure between Shanks and Rosinante. You gotta pick what you want. And then the 0 cost event. Because we still got a good set of bricks. I forget how much. Like 4, 8. We got a lot of bricks still. We got 4 0 cost events. We ain't even playing. 4 0 cost events. So we can get rid of some of these bricks. And we got a lot of 2Ks. We still got like 12 2Ks or something. So just in case. Right? So these to get rid of bricks. And then the last card I start putting in is Paradise Waterfall. I found that people like to attack first and then play out a card when they're playing against Bonney to play around the lead effect. So sometimes that one Dawn just be there doing nothing. So I wanted to find a way to utilize the Dawn in that case. So what I have on hand is Paradise Waterfall. For the same one Dawn you had up, you could use it now and get a 2000 counter. And you can restand the blocker. So you could do things like block with Hawkins, play this, make Hawkins a 9K blocker, and then restand him to block another attack. And that's the only reason this in the deck. But I've recently discovered a better card called Scalpel that I got order. I don't have any that I want to test in the deck. What Scalpel does is give you the same 2K counter, but instead of restanding a card on the field, it does restand the Dawn. So now I could use my Dawn twice. I can use it one for Scalpel to get a 2000 counter and maybe counter out an attack. And then I still have my Dawn up to rest something else. And that's my Bonney deck. I don't think I had this working on for months, but I only just get the card, so I couldn't record it. And before I recorded, I saw VV Theory put out a similar list, kinda. Not quite, but the idea was close. But this is a list I had working on for months. Like, I probably could show you receipts if I want, but I know it late now, so you might have seen it, but you still didn't see one like this. And I guess I explained how I just played. And that's it for this video. There can still be Gundam content coming out, I assure you, but I still want to put in some of my my One Piece list, because One Piece is still my main game for now. And Gundam is just something I plan to enjoy on the side and make content for. So until next time, let me know if I can improve. Subscribe if you like this kind of content. Tell me what else you want. Talk to me in the comments. And I'll catch you all later.